And I think what I'll do right now, before I start getting into deliberations with the council, I think I'll go ahead and invite those that would like to come up and speak. And here's the rules of engagement, ladies and gentlemen, is that when you come up, please state your name and your address, and we will give you 3 minutes to state your concerns, and then we'll go on to the next person. So if that sounds fair, please come up and tell us your concerns.
My name is Ray Wallace at 2315 Weymouth Street. I'm the owner of By the Dozen Donuts in Moscow. I urge you to vote no on this ordinance to add 200 feet buffer around the Moscow's farmers market and blocking street vendors from selling during the market. Let me begin by saying that we love farmers market and are proud of the recognition that it has earned nationwide, but my concern is that this proposal specifically targets my business, By the Dozen, the business we purchased in 2015. By the Dozen has been present as a sidewalk vendor right next to the farmers market since 2009. Back in the day when the market only took up a portion of the parking lot on Jackson Street. Operating near the market has been a critical part of our business. We have a right to earn an income. We purchased this business in 2015 with the understanding that we could set up near the farmers market with a sidewalk vendor's license. We rent a storefront downtown about 30 feet from where we usually set up, so this is, if we set up right in front of that, it would not be where we usually set up, which would be out of sight when, out of sight, out of mind, essentially. We've been the most consistent presence near the farmers market as a sidewalk vendor over the years, and I can't help but feel that this rule change is specifically targeting my business, By the Dozen, and our ability to earn an income. Operating on the corner near farmers market is critical to our annual business income. We are a local family-owned business. We have also employed 18 non-family members since we purchased the business. We have a paper petition that I have here that I can pass out with about 50 signatures that we left at our store since Thursday, which we're only open from 7 till 2, and we're closed on Easter. In addition, I've printed many supporting comments from Facebook over the last few days. At last count, we were at 170 shares and a volume of comments about this ordinance supporting the position that this ordinance should not pass. Many of the comments mention that By the Dozen is their first stop when going to the market. Here are a few quotes from the Facebook page. When I lived on Main Street, right above Friendship Square, you were the reason I got up before noon on Saturdays. Or, this was my have-to buy when I went to the farmer's market. Or, this is why my family goes to the farmer's market. Or, By the Dozen always has our business. Without them, we wouldn't go to the market as often. Or, I think it adds flair. We must have you there. You are the reason I get my daughter to come to the market, and I'm certain By the Dozen is the highlight of so many families that come to the market. Please vote no on this ordinance. And I can pass you these if you like.
Go ahead and bring them, just put them right up here, Ray. We'll put them over. So.
I tried to organize these Facebook comments, but...
Thank you, Ray. Go ahead.
Good evening. My name is Jennifer Wallace. I live at 2315 Weymouth Street in Moscow, and I'm also asking the city to vote no on the proposed ordinance to ban street vendors within 200 feet of the farmers market. Let me first say that buying By the Dozen was not my idea. As many of you who are married know, that's somehow the way it goes in families. But it was my husband's dream, and I have to say I have come to love it. I love that we fill a storefront in my hometown with a vibrant and fun business. I love that we employ others and give them a chance to fulfill their own dreams. I love that we have an opportunity to teach our children, 2 of whom are here with us tonight, and 1 is at Scouts. I love that we have an opportunity to teach our children what it means to have a job and to work and to serve others. But I also love that we support our community in so many ways. By the Dozen donates to Bear Boosters. We support specific sports, including football, lacrosse, wrestling, and other individual teams. We're a sponsor of fun runs, like the Hope Glow Run, which is happening this Saturday. And looking back to our first summer, we sent hundreds of dozens of donuts to the firefighters fighting forest fires on the different lines in Oregon, Washington, and Idaho. By the Dozen is a loved, recognized element of Saturday mornings, and you can see that from the Facebook comments. It adds to the ambiance and experience of those who come downtown. Last year, we tested being open only out of our storefront at 104 East 6th Street on several Saturday mornings. The drop in income was significant, it was measurable, and it's enough that if it continued, it would affect our ability to survive as a business. Bluntly speaking, farmers market is the equivalent of our harvest season. And if we are not able to be visible to the farmers market crowd, even being 30 feet out of sight, out of mind, is going to have a significant impact on our business. We believe the City of Moscow has an obligation to its citizens to ensure that its policies and programs create an environment that promotes a vibrant community, and that includes a healthy downtown. We feel that the council does a wonderful job with this. As a family, we've moved away for job reasons and come back twice because this is a wonderful place to live. We love this community, and we want to be here to help keep Moscow amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Hi, my name is Adam Wallace. I'm a son of Ray and Jennifer Wallace. As you probably got from my mom's reading, By the Dozen has had a positive effect on our community with its providing of employment, helping with fundraisers, and sponsoring organizations. It was also my first job, and it taught me how to work, be a productive member of society. If we were to be harmed by this ordinance or even to go out of business because of it, we wouldn't have any of these things that By the Dozen brings to Moscow, and I believe we'd be worse off for it.
Thank you, Adam.
Mr. Mayor, I'm Tom Preston, 621 Hathaway Street. Don't have 3 minutes of comments. I just wanted to encourage the council to vote no on the ordinance. I think it's important for our city to support local business. We've spent a lot of time trying to be pro-business in this town, and I think this is a good opportunity to show that we are pro-business and that we're going to support the local small business people when we're losing other businesses in the community. So, thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
Good evening, council members, mayor, and public. My name is Erin Carroll, and I'm currently serving as the chair of the Farmers Market Commission, so I thought it appropriate that I weigh in on that since our name is in the agenda item. First off, I want to commend By the Dozen, not only for your delicious donuts that I think many of us eat regularly, but also for the testament that your social media support and obviously the feedback on that this agenda item has solicited. I have a few comments in context to this. This agenda item has come up very quickly. In fact, it got put on council agenda before the solution even came to the Farmers Market Commission. So although we did recommend it, I think it's missing a lot of why this was put forth, and hopefully whether we make a decision tonight or it's postponed, I just want to give you and everyone else a little bit of that history. I can assure you that this was not written with the intent to target one business. This issue predates the Farmers Market Commission. It was brought up on the advisory board by both members of the advisory board and city staff. The concerns are valid that people have brought up, and I do not need to remind you, I don't think there is one farmers market policy that fits everybody. It doesn't matter what policy we're recommending. We have public comment. The history and context of this is the commission has looked at this in the last few years, and we have representation on this commission of the Chamber of Commerce during that time, representing local businesses, vendors within the market, and citizens, as well as some other appointed members. We try and get feedback from all of those resources, and that is our job to provide recommendation. We do not make decisions. Our goal in asking the city for help in addressing this issue was to maintain the integrity of the market. There's a lot of time and resource that goes into putting on the market, and we want to make sure that those are buying into it or getting what they put into it. Our city staff members, as well as volunteers from the commission, spend their time doing farm tours to ensure that produce vendors are growing what they say they grow with the integrity that they state they do, and that the food that they're bringing is of quality. We also jury all of our craft vendors to make sure that what they're bringing is made and adds value to our market with unique and handcrafted goods. I say this to say that we have a farmers market that is carefully curated. It is made by meeting the needs of our consumers, and the quality is something that our consumers expect. They know that it's unique and it has value in our community. Unfortunately, with the street vendor permits, or what is called, I believe, mobile vending, people perceive street vendors as part of the market. So it can be deceptive that people think that they're getting the quality or locally sourced ingredients that they get within the market from anyone vending around the market area. This may not be applicable to all of those that choose to vend on the street, but that's where the concern came from. We had maybe produce vendors that were able to sell at half the price because they were using cold storage produce, therefore making unfair competition for our vendors who are locally growing it just around the corner and putting that care into their craft. Throughout all of these discussions, to maintain the integrity of the market, to maintain transparency of what the market is providing to the consumer, the Commission requested staff and legal guidance on what this would look like. We did take consideration of brick and mortar stores and were relieved to see that this would not change, so that they could still sell on their sidewalks. We've also done surveys of entrances into the market to ensure that there are high traffic volumes that go through any entrance of the market. So even in front of those storefronts, we know that people will still be walking by. I understand that there's a concern of speed. Like I said, this was put on council agenda before the Commission even saw the solution. A lack of communication, and we expressed concern that maybe the public wasn't aware of this in due time.
Erin, could you wrap it up?
Sure.
Please?
We can slow down and reevaluate the process. It would be helpful if this is going to be put on the Commission's plate, if we have a clear charge of what you'd like us to look at, whether it's taking into consideration specific businesses, the way that items are juried by staff members, whether or not there were appeals which the Commission was not aware of, or the process in which the Commission should be involved. That would be helpful. Thank you.
Thank you, Erin.
Hi, my name is Frances Preston. I live at 914 Orchard Avenue. Whether the vote goes ahead tonight or not, I would like the council to vote against the ordinance. I have just one question, which is, if this isn't, I don't know how to phrase that without making that a loaded question. I go to the farmers market. I'm not aware of a plethora of street vendors on the outskirts of the farmers market. So how many of these street vendors are there that we're trying to stop, or that we're trying to get a distance between? Because the only one I can think of is By the Dozen. And I feel that this ordinance is very much unfairly aimed against them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse me, I'm Jen Piffner, Assistant City Supervisor, been working with the Farmers Market. We did a bit of research on how many vendors this has included over the years, and it's been, in some years it's been upwards of 10, in more recent years it's been down around 4 or 5. So it's kind of the range we're looking at.
Thank you. Jen?